I think we have all had difficult experiences, challenges along the way. University certainly for me was quite a challenging time in terms of trying to balance everything that I needed to do. Let's talk about how to pass Enterprise Rent-A-Car's first round interview. Welcome to the channel, I'm Mike from Job Ready English. In this Pass the Interview series, we break down the interview processes for world famous companies. If you like this video and you want to see more of them, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click like on the video and drop us down a comment below, even if it's just to say, good job, or could you do this company next? Now, unless you drive or you travel, Enterprise Rent-A-Car is probably not a company that you've heard of or know very much about. What I wanted to do with this channel and with the Pass the Interview series is also highlight companies that I personally really like and I feel represent really good opportunities for young people and professionals alike. And the reason being is that they have programs where essentially you're encouraged to be an owner of your own business. And what I mean by that is specifically in their graduate management trainee program is something that I really like, because you get to learn how a business operates, to run a branch, to then run a series of branches, and eventually to run a region. This is a really great way to learn about business and do something which I like to call playing with someone else's money. In my 20s, I was the COO of a coaching company, and one thing that I really appreciated from the guy who gave me that opportunity is I had the opportunity to learn and grow as a business person while being paid to do so, and handsomely. And I think companies like this are a little bit rare and they're worth highlighting alongside all of the standard companies that you may know and target as a graduate or professional. So let's start off with 5 fast facts about Enterprise Rent-A-Car. So the company was started in 1957 by Jack Taylor, who was a World War II veteran and a pilot. And he came home and he thought of the novel idea that people would like to rent cars rather than buy them for when they were traveling. And he started Enterprise Rent-A-Car with 7 cars and a cool idea. The name Enterprise is actually a tip of the hat to the World War II aircraft carrier, which carries the same name. Enterprise Rent-A-Car has certainly grown quite a lot since Jack Taylor started it in 1957. And is a phenomenal business success story. The company now employs more than 100,000 people and has over 10,000 offices in the world. This is such a cool fact. Expedia and has grown from the humble beginnings of 7 cars to 2 million vehicles. And Experian reported that in the UK, 93% of the UK population is within 10 miles of an Enterprise Rent-A-Car office, which I thought was pretty freaking cool. With the Enterprise Rent-A-Car interview, you can expect 2 interviews, and unusually we're actually going to cover both of these because I think they're quite relevant. The first interview is likely just to be a quick screener on the phone for 10 minutes, which essentially is a tell me about yourself portion of the interview. And if you're not sure how to tailor a great personal introduction, then you can see a link in the video up above, which will take you not only to a video just about answering tell me about yourself, but you can also download your own handy template to write out your own answer. Now, the purpose of this screener is really just so HR can get a feel for you, know a little bit about you, and also see what your personality is like over the phone. Enterprise Rent-A-Car is famous for exceptional customer service and also being really engaged with their customers. So one thing you want to think about when doing a quick screener with somebody on the phone is really just to be engaged, energized and motivated to do the role. If you're a little bit somber or you sound a little bit bored, then probably this isn't a job for you, because there's going to be a lot of customer interaction and a lot of interaction with members of the team, vehicles coming and going. It's really quite a fast-paced service environment. After this, you can expect to do a video or a face-to-face interview where you'd actually visit a branch and have a more formal 30 to 40 minute interview. So we're going to cover 8 likely questions that you can expect in the Enterprise Rent-A-Car interview process. Question 1, tell me about yourself. The dreaded question and possibly the most popular one, It's a really good idea and something that we do with candidates all the time when we're starting them out in the training process, is we say what you really want to do is learn about how to introduce yourself. Being able to sell yourself is such a crucial skill. This is really something that you want to be doing on a consistent basis from the start. And you can do that by outlining a 2-minute personal introduction about yourself, which covers what you're doing now, what you've done in the last 3 years, what you want to do in the future, work experience, extracurricular activities and volunteering, anything outside of work or academia, and finally, what are your interests and hobbies, and ending with a bang, something that's just an interesting fact about you. I find that everybody has an interesting story, and it's a good way to end, particularly in a face-to-face interview. You might say, I really enjoy playing chess, or in my spare time, I'm actually a very keen artist and I love doing portraits of people on my iPad. I just think that's a great little thing to just drop in there, because the natural next question is say, oh, that's cool. Tell me about that. I want to know a little bit more about it. And it gives you a little bit of an extra dimension. Question 2, why do you want to work for Enterprise Rent-A-Car? Now, as we already spoke about before, it's not a company that a lot of people would think about. So we want to pick out those 5 to 7 key facts, or 4 to 6 or whatever, and we want to produce those to give an answer within about 2 minutes. If you're not sure how to do that, there's a link up above to our answer, or the way that we would answer why this company, along with a handy sheet that you can download yourself. Or if you want to know about this in more detail and be taught by me, check out the description below for my free How to Write Cover Letters to Get Interview course. It's just 26 minutes and I talk about why this role, why you, and why this company in detail, along with some more free worksheets that you can use to generate your own answers. It's just making sure that you're putting out clear and discernible reasons. Enterprise is really looking for quite a specific type of person. They have a strong internal culture and a belief of promoting from within. So they're really looking for leadership candidates straight from the off. They are a big company, they're expanding rapidly, they're a market leader, so they're always looking for people who can lead stores, an area, or even a region or a country. Question 3, why this role? So always think about this question as a 2-part question. Number 1, explain your understanding of the role. This is something that you could just get from the job description. This might seem a little bit silly at first, because you might be thinking to yourself, well, they know what the job is, they're the one that advertised it. But as somebody who is thinking about, this is a person who I'm going to invest time and money in, I want to know that you have a clear understanding of what you will and will not do. And once you've done that, you can clearly demonstrate your skills and experience and what makes you good for that. What makes you good for dealing with customers, working in a busy environment, actually managing your time really effectively and being organized in the things that you do. Question 4, tell me about a time you provided a great customer experience. So what we've already talked about is Enterprise really prides themselves on giving an exceptional customer experience. And what you want to think about here is how you have exceeded somebody's expectations. We have all had that experience, though it can be a little bit rare in the UK, where we have dealt with somebody on the phone or face to face who's really gone above and beyond what we are expecting in order to quite simply just make our life easier. For me, customer service is about making the customer's life easier and answering the questions that they didn't even know that they should ask. So think back to your mind about when you've gone above and beyond to just be really helpful to someone, and essentially instead of just treating them like a stranger, you're treating them like a member of your family or a friend or somebody that's just in need. Question 5, what is your biggest weakness? This is a big pitfall for many people, and it really doesn't have to be. When thinking about what is your biggest weakness, for me personally, it should be something that is honest. It should genuinely be a weakness that you have. So for example, for me, one of my weaknesses is that actually I don't have the best attention to detail in all areas of my life, which is why I have a team. Because instead of sitting there and giving myself a really difficult time, I realized that mine is not an attention to detail problem, it's actually a time problem, because I have so many drawers on what I need to do and when I need to get that done by, which is why I can sometimes miss out the little things. So I resolved that by creating a solution to resolve that weakness. And that's something for you to think about. Don't think about a weakness as in, this is my weakness, and then finish. Just say, look, I know that sometimes I can be not that organized, but actually what I've done is now I diarize all of my appointments and the things that I have to do. I make sure I don't give myself too much to do on any one given day, and I allow myself a bit of an overflow time and reduce my expectations of what I needed to get done, because I felt like in the past I was trying to do too much and therefore the certain things weren't getting done. Question 6, what was a difficult experience for you and how did you overcome it? I think we have all had difficult experiences, challenges along the way. University certainly for me was quite a challenging time in terms of trying to balance everything that I needed to do. A few things to think about with this question. First of all, pick something that is really a challenge. Don't say like, oh, I had to hand in a piece of homework or an essay. It's not really a challenge, is it? Don't be afraid to get a little bit vulnerable. I always find these answers really to be quite enticing and interesting when someone reveals something a bit about themselves, which though it is presented in a professional way, actually allows us to demonstrate a little bit of empathy for the candidate and be very systematic in how you have overcome that. Be sure to share and put clear emphasis on the action part of what you're trying to say. Question 7, recall a time when you've shown flexibility in the workplace. This is an interesting question and is really quite role specific. Something that's quite a handy tip to do is that if you're not sure about the behavioural questions that are going to get asked, you can actually get a pretty good idea based upon the skills and experiences that are required for the role. For example, a lot of investment banking roles talk about the ability to resolve conflicts and to work under pressure. Why? Because it's that type of environment where you have a fixed window of time where you need to produce the results and get communication done, and sometimes tempers can get frayed. And it's exactly the same with enterprise. So for example, you had a customer turn up who wanted to rent a car, but they couldn't rent the particular one that they wanted, someone with an issue, someone crashes a car, many different things that could happen, which requires you to be flexible, to be able to adjust accordingly and still to prioritize what you need to get done, and potentially in your capacity as a manager to be able to delegate effectively and allocate resources in your team in a blow-by-blow basis as problems and issues come up. Question 8, how are you good at time management and organization? And when you think about it, if say for example you worked in an enterprise rent-a-car in Heathrow Airport, you're going to be managing and seeing hundreds of vehicles, different customers, bookings, accidents, insurance claims, checking, cleaning the cars. There's really a lot going on in this industry to make sure that the cars are returned, that the stock is allocated effectively, and potentially the need to communicate with other officers in your local area if say for example you have a booking which you cannot fulfill. What that means is you really need to be good at time management and organisation, and just like any service industry, there needs to be a strong emphasis placed not just the operations of the business but the sales, dealing with inquiries, and also resolving other issues. So that might be general marketing campaigns, cars that are out of action, things that need to be dealt with administratively, that you need to allocate time effectively when there's a bit of a lull so you can catch up with paperwork. Guys, let me know what you thought about this video in the comments. Is Enterprise Rent-A-Car a company that you would consider working for? Do you like this video about companies that I have specially picked out that I believe are good, world famous companies that I think young people and professionals should be encouraged to work for? Don't forget to subscribe for the channel, drop us a like, drop us a comment down below because the YouTube algorithm loves it. Bye.